Hello, everyone. Hello, as we used to say it as in an Emily voice. Hello? Hi, guys. How are you guys doing? Glad to see some people been tuning in for today. How's everybody doing? And I hope, by the way, as a quick check, is the sound good? Also, Emily, if you could be so kind to listen onto the headphones and type in the chat if my voice is not going through that clear, but also out to the chat. Carl Heinz, good to see you. We had a little bit of a chat earlier. Good to see you as well. Sound is good? Fantastic. Just let me know if there is any type of just like... Hey, Thomas Harrison, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Yeah, fantastic. It is clean AF, absolutely. Thank you so much for that one. So, I believe an introduction is in order. I know you've only seen me as a moderator. Hello, Katrin. That's good to see you as well. Hope you're doing it well. Just as a quick thing, you've only seen me as a moderator. I've been judging your stuff on Discord. But now it's my time to take you through this fourth and last bootcamp session here at CADA because, to be fair, we need summer vacation too. And I've just been up to my exam today, passed, so we're definitely happy about that. So that means that for the next, I believe that's going to be 6 to 7 weeks, there's not going to be anything to do, but I'll let you know that we still have our VODs, our video on demands on our YouTube channel, should you be itching for that little sculpting session or modeling or texturing or whatever. But to let things know, my name is Christian. I am just completed my 4th semester here at the school, and now we'll be entering into something called DaddyU, which is where we'll have this one semester where we're making video games. And video games in general, that is something that we're going to focus on today because we will be taking a look at Unreal Engine. So I hope all in the chat has reached their but has downloaded the Epic Game Launcher and has made sure to download the launcher or Unreal Engine as well. So while we're doing this, I'm quickly going to jump into this because there is a little bit of a setup beforehand. So let me just jump into the whole thing, if you would be so kind. So this is basically what you're starting out with. I promise you we'll have a little bit of chit chat, but it's just basically to get right into this. So the first thing you need to do is that we want to find Unreal Engine, and that is what you do right here. So usually if you really want to start old school, this is where you start at. This is in the store. If you ever played Fortnite before, you might know this launcher pretty damn well. But if you look over here, there is something called Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine is where we'll find our program, and you'll then go into library, and then you should see these engine versions right here. So I am on 5.4, which is the latest version. I did have this as an earlier one, but now it has been upgraded into a stable version. Gooby, what's good? Hey, nice to see you. Yeah, now it's a new time. But quickly to show you, if you want other engine versions, you go and press the plus icon, and then you will have a drop down of all the stuff. And yeah, the latest one should be 5.4.2, so make sure you got that one. It doesn't matter if you have a little bit of earlier versions as well, because basically we're not going to do any kind of mechanical wise, because this is set dressing that we're doing. We are basically making just like a scenic thing. So the first thing you want to do is you want to press launch. Exactly, Emily, the one with the moderating chat. So everybody also remember that Emily is not in here in this room today. She's actually sitting on the outside making sure that you guys are behaving very well in the chat. So yeah, she'll keep an eye out for it. But yeah, so after you launched your Unreal Engine, this is what you're being presented with. There's the recent projects. There is something called games. Games is where it gives you kind of like these templates. You'll have blank, you'll have first person to those FPS shooters out there, you will have a third person. You also have the top down to those who have either been playing Baldur's Gate 3, it will be a very, very classic thing. Or the layout would be very, how do you say, recognizable. You also have the augmented reality, we have some virtual reality, and then you also got a racing game. Pretty cool, but we'll we'll like just go through the things. You also have film and video. You want to do virtual production, DMX, where you do lighting, staging, stuff like that. Some in-camera and whatever. There's also architecture if you want to do archviz and yada yada. Automotive, photo studios, product configurator. There is a bunch in here, and simulations as well. Now, what I want you to is I want you to go to games, and I want you to go for the blank one. And make sure that you don't have any starter content, and I highly suggest that you don't want to turn on ray tracing. Ray tracing is because that you need a certain graphics card for it, and I believe that you need something DirectX 12, 11 or something. So let's just make sure that we are all on the same boat. So when those are being ticked off, you can then find your project name. I will name my summer vacation. Oh no, camel casing. I'm listening. So summer vacation bootcamp. Oh, I can't do it longer than that? Okay, that's cool. So we're doing summer vacay bootcamp. This is up to you what you want to type in. So when you found a project name that you find that is that you find fitting for your project, you should just go ahead and press create. And then now this little puppy here is gonna show up. I have already initialized the shaders here, so I will wait a little bit for you guys to make sure that you are on the same path. So I will not touch this. This might be intimidating for you, but we'll wait a little bit, because what you might want to do is something called it's called compiling shaders, and that can take quite some time depending on the machine that you're using. So we'll give you some times. It should take around maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and as soon as we're ready to go, we'll just punch it from that point. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna give you some quick things. Of course, this is environmental level design that we're going to do. So we're going to do basically a set. So we're not going to do any puzzles or any mechanic kind of things. We're basically just trying to make a little cool scene. But this is like your, let's say, crash course to how to use Unreal Engine. And that is just, and when you start to learn these, you can definitely use YouTube as well as a great leap to learn more stuff. Listen, Unreal can heaps of things. I actually remember that from Unreal's, I think they had like this kind of a show, like this type of conference going on, and where they showed like there is now a Marvel movie coming out. I believe that has been set in Second World War, and it's like Captain Marvel versus Black Panther, and the whole thing has been rendered inside of Unreal Engine. So that's cool. So Unreal Engine has a multi-purpose of different things that you can use it for. Here at the school, you're being taught how to use Unreal in second semester, where you will be making a video game where you will have 8 weeks to create a video game from scratch. You make all the models, you do the rigging, animation, and then you're doing what is called a walking sim. You have to walk from A to B and have to do a story at the same time. And before that, you're being taught just how to use it. We were tasked from our session, I think it was 2 weeks in total, where we had to make a exterior and interior shot, just trying to see how the things did. And I can just quickly show you what I did back in second semester. And yeah, let's see if this one is flying. There we go. So I made this in 5 days. This was a combination of different assets that from the Unreal store. Just a bunch of things collided together. This time it was at the height of Last of Us, so you might gonna see a little bit of inspiration from that kind of like post-apocalyptic kind of thing. And yeah, so this was what we were working with. Yeah, and was done with a school time of roughly around those 25 hours. So yeah, that's pretty neat. So yeah, that is something you can do in Unreal. Pretty neat. In the meantime, while you guys are compiling shaders, I kind of want to hear also with the chat. Chat, how far are we? Are you still compiling shaders, or am I just rambling too much? Where are we in this? I will greatly appreciate kind of to get a feeling of where you guys are at. Oh, and I can also show you another cool thing. Done here, Carl. That's perfect. Let's see if other one is following troops as well. We kind of just want to make sure everybody is on the same page. while most people might be compiling a little bit, you want to maybe check out this little neat feature. It is called the Marketplace, and in the Marketplace is where you can download assets, you can download these different things. You can see here Throne Room environment, Extraction Scythe, Elven, Modular, you want a melee combo, and yada yada. But this is where it gets interesting for you guys. There's something called Free for the Month. And these are assets, or it could be something completely different. It could be worlds, it could be, you know, kits, blueprints, and blueprints is basically C++, the backbone of how Unreal is running. And these are just for you to download, get it for free, and it's yours to keep forever. And this is what Unreal does every single month. They are basically giving out free things for you to use. So I would highly suggest you go in and just get a hold on these. I think it's roughly around those 400 to 500 euros worth of free stuff for you to go crazy on it. So it would be wise for you to. And I can even show you from my case. I mean, I'm a hoarder. I like to check things up, you know, every single month, and you can see you get a lot of stuff here. So you can get everything from whatever suits your needs. So yeah, that is great. So yeah, so that is it. That was for you guys to show. And I would like to also give you guys a little bit of heads up as well to those who intend on. These projects can get quite big. I'll talk a little bit about it in the storage. Karl-Heinz, you're damn right. Hoarding is fun, and I never know how to let go of stuff. So, but I believe that since nobody else apart from Karl-Heinz has declared that they are not ready for today's Unreal class, I would now like you to introduce you to the engine. So, first things first, do not be scared of this. This looks a little bit weird. I'm just gonna quickly go you over the navigations. So what you basically see here in this type of thing where you can see this desert looking thing, this is the standard level. You cannot avoid this one. This is basically just like something that Unreal creates as a first thing, kind of just to give you a feeling. So this is the viewport that you're looking for. And if you hold your mouse over the viewport and hold down your right mouse button, you can now kind of just like have a look around, and just using, you know, the movement of your mouse, if you couldn't guess that, to kind of just like have a little bit of a look. Cool, huh? Down here you have something called the content browser. This is where we're gonna pull all the assets in, and that's something I'm gonna show you pretty soon, where there's just a lot of assets that we can choose from. And then if you were a little bit more acquainted, if you remember from Emily's Blender bootcamps, over here we have the outliner. This is basically to show you just like what's in this world right now. So you can see there's something lighting, there's some skies, and there's some landscape and whatnot, but we'll get to that pretty soon. So if you were to press stuff here in the scene with your left mouse button, you can see I'm starting to highlight stuff. That's basically your selection tool. So left is to select stuff, right is to look around, and now I want you, while holding down your right mouse button, I want you to press W. And you might gonna start to see that I'm moving now. So this might be going a little bit slow. I mean, I'm gonna get closer down to earth here. Now you can see that we're moving. For all the gamers out there, WASD is your way to go. So if you can see, if I press A, moving left, while still holding down the right button, pressing D, it's gonna move you to the right, and S is moving you backwards. Q and E is like going up and down in height, and let's say, for example, that I want to go all the way over to this mountain range. God is gonna take me forever. So what you can do is that while you're holding down your right mouse button, you can now, with your middle mouse, you can scroll to increase the speed. You can also do this while moving. So let's say I'm moving over here. QE saves your life. Agree, Karl-Heinz. But so here, let's see that I'm moving here. Now, if I start to scroll on the mouse button, you can see now I'm picking up the speed, and you can go blazingly fast here to really. So this is just to make sure. If you like, let's say you're working with these like massive maps. This is like to getting from point A to point B. You can then scroll on the other way around so you can get to a more comfortable speed. If you're working on a laptop, if you're working with a laptop with Unreal Engine, first of all, where the hell did you get the NASA computers? Because this is quite a beefy engine to work with. But should you not be having a middle mouse button, you can go up here where it's saying camera speed, and you can use this little slider to change the speed should you wish to do that as well. And you can also scale it from that point. So this is basically just like, I kind of want you now just like to kind of just move a little bit around and just like, you know, just kind of move around and stuff like that. And just get acquainted with it. Just have a look around. How does it feel? Do you feel like there's some sort of like a comfort level that kind of reaches yours? I myself have a little bit of tendency to get motion sickness, so I used to like to keep the things down to a bare minimum. So, are we all on pretty much the same kind of deal here? I need to go over something? Also, please let me know if I'm talking too fast or something. Please tell me to slow my horses down. I will definitely make sure to either, I'll gladly repeat it to you or kind of go the whole thing over again. Please do let me know. So, QE while right mouse button is clicked, otherwise it changes to different object mode. You goddamn right, Harosip. By the way, to everyone who doesn't know, Harosip is our IT fella here from the school, and he's watching a close eye on me. So yeah, absolutely, as Harosip is saying here, if you look up to the right corner here, how can you make things lag a little bit less? Judith, I'm glad that you asked. If it lags a little bit too much here, it's because that what you're basically right now, this is pretty much real-time rendering. And this might be a little bit taxating on your machine. What you could do is, oh, sorry, let me just see. Is this little mouse button up here. Under selection mode, you will see something called lit. If you do something called unlit, it's basically going to turn off all the processing that is happening right now. And this should give you a great performance boost to work with. This is basically also just like kind of to help you out, just like with the whole layout. You don't really need the whole thing. But so if you're working on a little bit of a slower PC and you want to wait for the very end to kind of render stuff out, unlit is your freaking ally in this one. There is also, you can see these hotkeys right here. I will not be going too much into hotkeys because that is something that you can learn throughout. I want really this to make sure that you are understanding exactly where I'm pressing to find the different stuff. So, unlit is here. Go back to lit if you want to stay lit. Bad joke. I'm sorry. I'll keep those back. Keep those to a minimum. But so yeah. So if if everybody is on track, as I can see in the chat. No worries, Judith. And please do let me know if there is anything else that should be working with. So, like I said before, this is the default map. So this is basically your, like I used to say in my previous boot camps, it says, this is your Dune. This is your Dune map. I mean, by all means, you're more than welcome to use this one, but we kind of want to do this from scratch, don't we? Like, I think we should like start from a clean slate and just make sure that we are completely on track with everything. How does that sound, everyone? Harrisip, you can also go to settings on the right side of the outliner. There are quality settings that you can lower without losing too much of the feel. Harrisip again, I mean, should you just take over this this stream? I mean, no, Harrisip has a great point as well, that you can also go out to the outliner, and there is some stuff out here where you can definitely do a little bit, yeah, you can hide and you can change the settings as well. So, if everybody is on board, I would like you to show you, Harrisip can have my job, you goddamn right, Emily. Harrisip can just do the whole thing, it's fine. So, now we are, if you're looking down into your content browser, this is where, how do we say, this is where we get all our stuff in, but not necessarily inside the scene. What is inside the scene will be visible in the outliner, or if I can like point it up here, up in the outliner here, that is where you're gonna see what is visible inside. So that's why if I can mark something down, no, Harrison, please stay. No, please stay. So, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked here. So let's say, so as I said before, that whatever is in outliner is something that you can see. Now, since that we've pressed this, you will now see something being highlighted over here. So if I were to press the invisibility here, it will then hide. It means it's still in the scene, but it's now just hidden. So let's say I'm just like, no. I'm just like, I'm working over here. I'm just like, oh no, I can't press this. It's basically just to go down and just make sure you can definitely find the, you can see this like little bit of an icon, like an open eye and a closed eye. So open eye means that it's now visible. But if I were to find this one again, I'll then add into it. All right. So with that kind of in the way, I will now show you how to make a level from scratch. Down here we have the content. I want you to go down here to the content browser, and I want you to right click in this where it says drop files here, or right click to create content. Right click, you will see something called level. This is the clean slate you want to go for. We shall name this Summer Forest. I like forest, and it's a very good thing to get around. So I'll call this Summer Forest. And since here at the school you're being taught how to do proper file naming, I'll do a little bit of name conversion. Name file naming, and also we have to do versioning as well at the same time. So that means that we don't do final, and we don't do final, the final, all caps, final. That means that you do version 001, version 002, version 003, and then you're pretty much just good to go from there. So Summer Forest underscore VU001. Please remember that you don't have to do a Summer Forest. I'll show you why. So hit enter. Now you can see this here, and now double click on it, and it's gonna say you, oh, we should really save this content just to make sure everything goes by the book. And absolutely we should. Save selected. All right, thank you guys. It's been a pleasure. Black screen. Enjoy Unreal. It's been a pleasure. My name is Christian. Have fun with Unreal. Bye. No, I'm kidding with you. The thing is, when you start a complete new level, there is absolutely, how do you say this? There's nothing. There's no light. There's no floor. There's no meshes. There's nothing. This is basically just a clean slate. So that means that with no lights, you can't see a damn thing. So what I want you to is, I just want you to find, let me just see if I can go for it. The void! Exactly. I'm just gonna make sure if in, have they changed stuff in here? They should be, no. Oh, I'm sorry. So what you want to do is you want to go to window, and you want to go down. So you got cinematics, There's something called env.lightmixer. This is called environment light mixer, which is basically giving us the rules of what we want to add into the scene. Might be reasons why you don't want to add these things, either if you want to do studio lighting or you want to be in complete control and you don't want, let's say, an entire dome. But for this one, I kind of want to show you the powers of Unreal and how it works. So you have these 5 boxes here where it's saying whatnot. So I'll push this to the side, and just to get you kind of a feeling what's going on. Create skyline. You saw something happen out in the outline. Nothing is really happening right now. I want to create the atmospheric light. Now hold on, here's the kicker. Create the sky atmosphere, and now we have a blue sky. Now we want to create the volumetric clouds. This is the clouds that is happening inside this scene. So now this is one in. And then, not to look into the void, as our dear Emily, the moderator, has just been pointing out, we want to create a height fog as well. And this is basically to help you out, kind of just separating the horizon from the sky to the bottom. So, welcome to heaven. There's nothing, and that gives pretty good meaning. And what we then kind of want to do is we want to make a plateau of, you know, kind of like a landscape that we want to go for. By doing so, we should look for something called build landscape. And what you will do that, and my god, the webcam is right into it. It's called build in the build tab. Sorry. There is something called build landscape. Build landscape is basically telling what do we want here. Oh no. Should be this correct place. I think I'm quite sure. Oh, I'm a silly goose. Sorry, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Don't go in there. So let's just go right back to it. So we're still in here. So let's just retcon that as before. But up here in the selection mode, right where I was asked earlier about just like lit and unlit, there is this called selection mode. What you want to here is go down to landscape. And now you can see that Unreal is now showing us a, what would you say this is? It's basically just like kind of a blueprint of what it's about to create of landscape. You have either, you can do import from files, so that means if you have a landscape that you've done already, either procedurally generated, you can import it with this, or as for us, we kind of just like sticking with the basics. So we don't have a material yet, so we'll just go in here. You can see there is a different X, Y, and Z axis. That means that if you want to change the location of it, I have to, yeah, you really have to. Yeah, and you can use the middle, a grid, bingo. But yeah, these ones, these values you can kind of tweak using either your mouse by going left to right, or you can type in values. Now down here in the scale, there's something called 100, 100, and 100. For this sake of it, I would like to keep it as just kind of like as a mini scale, I would say. So 100, 100, and 100 is good for me. You can, of course, absolutely just increase the hell out of it. That is totally up to you. For me, I'm kind of alright with just this. And it should be just keeping yourself as in a square. As you can see that when I was changing this, you can see that there is this little backwards. That's actually the undo button, because now and then you might gonna tweak on something. You can't really remember what the default number was. So by pressing this one, it's gonna go back to the initial default setting, which was good. There's also something called fill worlds. I would say be careful of that, because that is fill worlds. That means that the landscape is gonna go on for ever and ever. It doesn't gonna be like, you know, procedurally generated and whatnot, but it's actually just gonna go, let's fill out the entire space with mesh. So I would say, unless that you have a super beefy computer and you're not intending on recreating World of Warcraft or the Minecraft worlds, I would say stick to 100 and 100 and then press create. Now what it now has done here is that now we have created our grid here, as Harris said was so nice to point out, and you can see it is quite flat, and we might want to add, oh, barons for the win. Absolutely, Karl-Heinz, I see you are a person of culture. So when we did the whole managing here, or when we did, it actually jumped over to sculpting. Now sculpting is going to be very easy for you guys to understand if you were participating in Emily's ZBrush class, because it's kind of going to go into the same. So let me see here. Yes, so there's a few things that you want to keep in head on. There's something called sculpt, so let's just try and utilize that. So if I were to go close towards the earth, just to kind of give you a feeling, with this gray little box here, you can now see that I'm starting to sculpt. I'm basically adding elevation to it, and then just like by holding down, you're gonna elevate, but you can also hold shift down, and that's gonna then make a cavity, I think it's called, or at least just like it's not gonna explode, it's gonna implode, but it's not implode. I'm looking for the correct English jargon, but it should be fine here. If you find the size a little bit, there is also brush types and whatnot, where it's just like, it's up to you which one you feel like the most. You can definitely try them out. This is a very checkered kind of feeling that you could go for. And there's also these ones where it's very much, yeah, you get the picture. And yes, by holding down, you just start increasing the stuff. I like to use just the natural one. You can also see there's brush fall-offs. Those are really great as well. I used to just stick to the first one, which is smooth fall off. The tool string, however, is something that you can see there's a lot of decimals happening now. That's the reason why if you crank this puppy to 1, this is what's gonna happen. You can see it is absolutely trying to make something. I'm not gonna say it out loud, but I mean, if Karl-Heinz wants to do Barons, I mean, this would be like a fast way to get yourself those Rocky Mountains and whatnot. So I like to kind of just like to go eat. That's like the thing. Like, it's okay to use a tool, kind of just crank it to 100, see what it does. If it's, then you kind of understand like, oh, so this is what to do at to a maximum. So let's try to go a little bit further back and let's see how that goes. So as always here, just crossroads. Yeah. I'm gonna type in this decimal value because I kind of like this size, and then you can do the brush size as well. Now I wanted to make myself a forest, and I kind of just want to kind of make a kind of like a horseshoe kind of thing. So by using the brush size, I can then increase it, and then I can yeah. You can see how fast it goes, right? Now we've just like created these massive hills that is happening. Why I'm making a horseshoe is that because since our grid, or at least our map, is that small, is because there might gonna be a chance that we could potentially see the horizon, or you can at least see where the map is ending. So I'm kind of just want to hide it a little bit to make sure that you're not gonna see where the entire map is ending. So kind of just want to make a little bit of a nice little grove, I would say is a good word. So when you're kind of getting nice with this, by the way, I'm going rough on this one. This is basically just me trying to show you how to get something out and just get you to know the tools. There is something called smooth, and that should also be a well-known tool for when you did ZBrush sculpting with Emily. And that is basically for you to see like, oh, if I'm working with a little bit too hard edges, I can then go in and kind of just smooth it out. I can also do it here from the top side and just really just work my way down, making my way downtown. Just really get those in, and just like kind of just, if something was a little bit too bumpy and I kind of want to make it a little bit more smooth, same procedure as just before. So it's very nice to just go back from sculpting to smooth and back and forth until you get your desired look. So you can see that I do have a little bit of a flat area, so I kind of wanted to use my sculpt again, go down in size maybe, or maybe, yeah, go down in the brush size, and then kind of just like, nope, and just I think maybe we could do a little bit larger size, but I kind of want to just like add a little bit of, you know, indentations and just making sure nothing is like completely flat. Yeah, that looks good. Go back to smooth. I can increase the size a little bit more again just to make sure everything is good, and then just have. Now, basically, the thing is when it tries to smooth, it's basically trying to flatten your sculpt. So if you were to spend too much time on smoothing something out, it's basically going to try to flatten itself. So remember now and then when you've done a little bit, remember to let go of your left mouse button, because if you've been smoothing for way too long and you're just at one point just like, oh god, I did a mistake, when you control C, that's going to be so destructive for your workflow, because you've then undone a lot of stuff. So make sure just to let go of that left mouse button now and then. Take some time, look at it, see if it works out for you, and just say like, yeah, that sounds pretty alright. So now we're kind of getting into this. So yeah, I would say definitely that this is feasible for my little thing. So this almost looked like I think it's the Windows wallpaper from back in the days. That should be fun. So when you are happy and you're finished with your landscape, and you kind of say like, all right, let's move on to some other cool stuff. Go back from the landscape mode and go back into selection. That kind of goes out of the modes. Should you then want to go back again, not to worry, just go back to landscape, go to sculpting, and then you can push on again and creating your stuff. So it's very much just like, don't worry about it. You can go back and forward. With that being said, now we have a terrain. So, and I'm saying I'm pretty happy with this, but as you can see, it needs something. It needs materials, it needs assets, it needs a bunch of stuff in here. And that's where I would like you to introduce something called Quixel and Quixel Bridge. Where do we find Quixel and what is it? Well, let me show you for a quick second here. Up here in selection mode, right on the right, there's this little cube and a plus that's saying quickly add to the project. You'll get a drop-down menu. This is where you also can import your content apart from dragging it over. Let's say you build something in Blender. This is also a good way of importing your stuff. But right below, there's something called Quixel Bridge. Press that one, and it will now open a new little cool thing here. And what Quixel Bridge is, it's something called megascans. This is assets that is high quality, that has been scanned, and then a texture has been applied. No need for modeling, no need for texturing. This is just your DuckDuckGo, your plug and play if you want to do some quick set dressing, should you want to. It is for free, but one thing it will probably ask you when you log in for the first time is that right up here is going to ask you to maybe sign in. I'm just gonna make sure that it is signed in. Yeah, so this is basically what it's gonna show you. So remember to type in the same thing that you did for your Epic Game Launcher or for that user that you did. I'm quickly gonna make sure that I am in the loop. And in the meantime, I hope that you guys are doing well. And yeah, should there be any questions, either about like how to use Unreal or what the school is in general, have at it. And also I know that the good Emily out there will also be the best to answer your questions too. So when that is done, you can see now here we are now logged in. You can now just basically have at it. You can full screen this thing to kind of see what's going on. 3D models, plants, you want a junkyard, you want a banquet. You can definitely see that you can grill turkey, grilled turkey leg, sausages, apples, an eaten apple. Like the list goes on. It is quite massive. So, and this is was something that was built back in the days as a third-party app that then people could take it in from. But then at one point, the good folks at Unreal was just like, hey, this actually kind of makes sense. Shouldn't we just like adopt this straight into it? So that should be your plug and play too. So for me, I wanted to create a forest. Like I said, you guys can do whatever you want. You can definitely see here, there's a volcanologist lab. American sidewalk, dystopian slums, sci-fi landscape. Ooh, that looks like Halo. I'm getting sidetracked, sorry. Scary restroom if you want to go Silent Hill, cyberpunk environment, deserted medieval village. There's crazy things. You can go urban, you can go, castle ruins. There is a great amount of choice. What I like to do as a first is I kind of want to go into and see what kind of like material I want to populate the scene with. So since I'm going for this kind of like summer vibe, I will then go environments. Should give me some options here, and I can see that we have these like kind of like spheres, and those are basically to show you what kind of this is texture that you can use for your project. You could also at the same time, you could also go up here in here, and I could just say forest, write that down, and you will start to see that it will also try and just show me these different assets. I can already see I got one here. I think this looks great as well. It's called Nordic Forest Ground Root Moss Course. That was a long word. I will not be saying that anytime soon again. But when you want to add these things, how do you do that? Great question. Down here you will see something called quality. Now, unless that you have terabytes and terabytes of storage, I would not recommend you to go any higher than medium. It simply doesn't make any sense. High qualities and highest qualities is just uncompressed files. They will tank your hard drives in a second. So for this, I will also be participating, and I will say that we'll do this as a medium quality. When you let's say low quality, for example, you can see there is like this little add icon out here. Oh wait, why does it become gray for me? Let me find something else here. Why am I not allowed to add these things? That's interesting. Huh. Why do you don't want to let me do that? Let me try something else. Let me see. 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 Let me Okay, so as for now, I'll just quickly show you the workaround. So let's say that you're now in here. You've then added it or downloaded it. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot, by the way, guys. This is why I'm like almost suddenly here on a summer vacation. Sorry, I completely forgot to show you that you, of course, first have to press the download button. You press the download button, you download the stuff, and then you add it into the game. One thing to keep you in mind is that when you downloaded it once, if you do not delete it, it will be on your hard drive. So if you want to do like go visit back, that is the way. If you cannot get the download button up and running, it might be the reason why that Quixel wants you just to do another login, and that should be a-okay. So maybe 2 logins, maybe once. The world is your oyster. So when you're happy with one that you've chosen, I will then press add. And if I then go a little bit down here, you will now be able to see this. Hey, so here we are. This is called just the base color. This is what to show what the color is. Don't judge Christian. His brain is fried from exams. Thank you. Thank you for sticking up for me. So this is the base color. This is just the colors in general. This one is the normals, and normals is basically to kind of just like project these heights. That is, so let's say there's like some small leaves, or there might be a little bit of branch. It can kind of give you like a feeling of there's like a indentation or there's something there to really show, like kind of give you this feeling of it's like 3D, but it's projected onto 2D. This one out here is a little bit more complicated. This is ambient metallic. I think it's called ambient occlusion, metallic, and roughness. And this is like a special things that Unreal is doing. But with that being said, first you want to find your landscape here. And when you found a material that you are happy with, you can then here in the content browsers that you can see that has been nicely shown to us. When I click on it and I want to move it, did you see? Oh, you can't. Let me just turn this one off for a quick second. When I hold this down, can you see that it's now like highlighted in blue here? That means that this is ready to be implemented, and this is called landscape material. So watch what happens when I put this on. Something has changed. Something has changed, but it's not quite there yet. This is because it's tiled, and as you can see that we're this close to it, and you can see like this is medium quality, right? You don't need high and the highest quality. This is medium quality. But the one thing you might be noticing is that just like, oh god, this is tiling a lot against each other. And if you've ever been played a little bit older games, like if you were to fly out and you would see down below, that is like where you would definitely notice just like, oh, tileable texture. In order to address this, this is what we want you to do. Let me just see here. We want to find this material instance where everything has been applied. If you then were to double click on it, this basically show like it pops the hood of pops the hood of a vehicle and kind of show you what the hell is going on in here. And while you're in here, this is just like as a viewport, and it's the same controllers as before, so you can kind of just like have a look around. So yeah, so this is the material that we're working with. But one thing that we want to change here is that we want this to tile a little bit better, because this is a little bit too crazy. So out here in the details, the same kind of like, if I'm putting this up next to next, you can see like viewport, viewport, outliner, outliner. This one is just called details. There's one called global, and I want you to do these 2 drop downs. There's something called tiling, and this is where it's defining how many times it's going to repeat itself across. I found out for this one, I wanted to set my X and Y to 0.1. Now hold with me, because now it's going to look a little bit crazy. And 0.1 as well. Now you can see it's actually tiling a little bit better. We could also do 0.01 and 0.01 again. And now it's actually starting to look a little bit more normal. Oh yeah, and this is like one of the things. It's gonna pop up now and then and just saying just like, hello. But now you can see actually, now it actually starts to tile well with each other. So now we pretty much got this done. So far we've learned that now we know how to make a new level, we know how to make the lights, we know how to use the landscape editor to create a flat landscape, sculpting that, and then gaining access to Quixel Bridge and gaining access to the materials, which is going to be the same place where you're going to find all the other stuff. So I know for a fact that I know it can be a little bit difficult finding like full trees. That's why I want to show you another cool example, is that in Unreal Marketplace there is more free stuff to choose from. One of the things that, if I remember correctly, is that they have this called free, and you can then go down to mega scans, and they're going to show you a whole lot of stuff in here. And this is where you can see just like more things, but these have not been directly imported into the Quixel Bridge, but these are more just like a little more outside. But you can just spend hours in here finding whatever assets will suit your needs. I know for a fact that I want to use one of my marketplace stuff in here. I maybe want to add where's my summer select project? There's not my Easter, there's my bootcamp, there's my enchanted. No, don't add then. Oh, you guys are not supported then. Search for project, show all projects. Thank you, kind sir. We're gonna do summer vacation. See, so here is the thing. There's something now and then where they might have not been upgraded to the latest version, so it's gonna be like, hey, we're not supported for it. Might not gonna be, but I'm gonna say add a 5.3 to this one. So because it's mainly just assets here, this is gonna easily oh yeah, now it's downloading. So basically what it's going to do is saying just like, hey, I'm not really on the same page with you when it comes to versioning. Are you sure I want to do this? If you really like focused on game mechanics, if you really want to add these, like, you know, saying just like a customization menu or whatnot, it is a little bit more important because there might be blueprints, and blueprints is a visual learning or visual coding for you. So that means you don't really have to type in things, but you rather just like pinpoint the things from like one blueprint to another, and then make sure that everything is working from there. That really needs to be up to date, because if it goes a little bit too old or something, there might be a feature that they've been missing out on, and therefore you kind of lose the you kind of lose the functionality in this one. But while this one is working and downloading, I would like to go in and just have a little bit more look at the Quixel Bridge. So I actually had quite some fun, and I kind of want to recreate this again. So I wonder if they have a sword. Yes, they do. I would like that sword, please, and that is a medium quality. I'm gonna press add again, and you can see, bam, and everything shows up where you go to content, mega scans, 3D assets and services, and there's my sword. But first off, I kind of want to populate the scene with maybe some ground vegetations here. So let's go in here. Yeah, you can see you can get quite a lot of stuff here. Oh, let me just turn this one. I look like I'm freaking tiny on that one. Is that a little bit better? Yeah, that was great. So let's say we want to add this. I want to add this. I want to add. Oh, I want to add this. And these are already I have been downloaded. So basically, for me, just to make sure that we're efficient when it comes to these boot camps, this is what we're going for. Also, hopefully at the very end, I would like to show you how to set up a camera and kind of do a small little render out of your scene. And then, if you want to, you can, of course, if you want to, share your work in the Discord, kind of just to get to share your stuff and the stuff that you've been working on. And you're also as well welcome to send that stuff as well throughout the summer vacation, because this can definitely get you. You can spend a lot of time here. So if I remember this correctly, I can now see that I have some plants here. Thank you very much, my good sir of Unreal. Now I want to add these, and the worst thing that you can do is like, that's gonna take quite some time. We do not want to do that. What we do want is a foliage tool here, which is a neat little thing. Oh, I can already see it has quite some of my stuff already. But I kind of want to just, I kind of wanted to populate the scene with these different things. So what I would do is I would then highlight, let's say, some of the first ones here. Yeah, since I already have the previous one added, I can show you how it looks. Oh, sorry. Boop. Yeah, let me just choose all the things. You hold down Shift and you then press from one asset to another in a descending order, and that will pretty much highlight the whole thing. Should there be something that you don't want to have, you hold down Control, and then you can deselect the different things that you want in here. But while we have these, you kind of want to just find that checker. You can see, oh, now this has been locked and it is now ready to go. So with my brush size and my density a little bit lower, I can now start to do here. I know this is going to look insanely high dense. You can also see my computer is struggling on here. Yeah, you can see this becomes a little bit too dense, and I can already see there is 100 of each. So this one I would kind of recommend you as just for once, keep this low and just slowly just populate the scene. Just really just take your time out. Thank you, Emily, for the lovely little Discord link here. But you could still at the same time use your brush size to really just crank that one up and just, yeah, get in there and just populate the scene with your lovely assets. And yeah, so now you can see that we've now pretty much populated the scene with these lovely assets. I know this is gonna look a little bit uncanny valley. It's just like uncanny valley. It's just like, what? Like, it looks like small trees and whatnot, and I completely get that. That is absolutely. Tomas again with the good pointers. Remember to save early and save often, because you do not want to deal with a project that is absolutely just getting demolished because you went a little bit too hard on these. That is also the way where it's great to save, because then you can kind of go in and try and test what the different things can do. But yeah, so now we pretty much have the foliage down. This is just, you know, as before, this is just a quick way of just showing you how these are working. You could also go further down and do more. Then when it crashes, if you use high, yes. You could also scale this one. So let me just show you this. Scaling wise, we maybe want to do 2. We want to do, oh well, we can do 4. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. You also have up here, you also have something called remove. This is basically gonna use the brush and then remove the stuff from your scene. Oh wait, hold on. Why am I still on paint? Sorry guys. Sorry, erase. I'm sorry, that's what I'm going for. And then you use your brush again for the same. And this is where you then go in and delete. This is also very good for, like, you know, minor like tweaks and changes and whatnot. But if we go back to paint and I want maybe to increase the size of them, and I'm adding maybe a 4. Watch this. They got a little bit bigger. So this is really just like up to you. You can also change the scale. So if you want to do 1 and 4, it's gonna change in size. That is like a little bit more prominent when it comes to like trees. That is really one of them that we want to where we go for. Now I feel like this might be a little bit too over the top of all of these, so I might gonna go in and say not do these, and maybe just go a little bit easier on this. So let's say this should be fine. Yeah, less is more, gentlemen. Well, I could use a little bit more, so I'm definitely gonna increase the size in these just to make them a little bit more. Oh wait, Did my scale just no? Yeah. You can definitely see that you can quickly add on to the things. So let's see if I do 8. And now we're slowly. If you would be so kind. Oh, it doesn't want to add me. I might have gone a little bit over the top with the scaling. So let's just stick to 4. And this is like one of the things that you want to try out when you're. It's like figure it out. Like really go in. What does this button do? What does this do? And so forth. It is okay to fail when using these. So yeah. Here you can see that we have a little bit more believable landscape. So now I'm done with my foliage. I kind of want to add myself a hero object. And by that I would like to find my sword. Because now I want to show you what happens when I drag an asset into the scene. Let me just delete that one, because that was a little bit difficult maybe to see what the freaking just happened. There we go. So, here is my tiny sword that is floating in the air. Well, what do I do with this? Because I can press on it, but here's a few things that you can do using hotkeys. W. That is your move tool. That will allow you to move your asset in 3D space on the X, Y, and Z axis. Press E. That is your rotation, where you can rotate, and as well on the respective X, Y, and Z axis. Press R, and that is your scale tool. And that is really just the way to do it. Now, there is one thing you need to be aware of when it comes to scale tool. There is this little gray box in here, because if I were to just pull it on, let's say, the left, I'm getting a pretty chunky sword here. So what I want to is I want to have that gray one in the middle, which is then uniform, is gonna make sure that it is being scaled on the X, Y, and Z axis uniform. So let's say I'm now pretty happy. Now we need to have a magnificent sword. So we'll add this down here. I want to increase it in the size as well, just to make sure it's. And then I want to kind of put it into the ground as well here. So let's see. Boom. Add this one down here. Give it a little bit of rotation, and we have the sword in the dirt. Not sword in the stone. That would have been fun though. Please don't sue me, guys. So this is basically what you do. You then take the assets that you don't want to just like hand pick and just place by however you like. Those like hero objects, those kind of like make sense. Or if you have like these asset packs where it's more just you don't want that uniform kind of feeling going on. Good lord, did I not? Oh, I believe I'm just gonna quickly. Sorry, this is why like I'm constantly going back and forth on here and paint away. Let's do these one as well. Oh, now you want to play along, huh? Let me add a few zeros just to make sure. Yeah, like I said, this is not going to be pretty from my end. This is basically just to show you guys how to make it work. So as we now like, and I believe I just need to check if. Oh, it's still going at the same time. So it's going to be a little bit tight on the schedule here, but this is now just like for you guys to go in, add a few assets and whatnot. Download some stuff from the Unreal Marketplace. Keep it free. You don't really have to spend that money. You can get, like, as you could see, some quite good assets for free. So I maybe would like to make this a little bit. Ooh. I want to show you guys a cool thing though. If I go into the selection mode and I'm just like, really want to kind of just like, it's a little bit too bright for my taste. If I then were to go in and find the directional lights, that is actually the one that is dictating where the sun is. So I could then just like saying, I want the sun to be from here, and then I can make it become this. How neat is that, huh? So, and you could also use then Control L, and then while still holding Control down, you can kind of get a little bit more precise, where you then use your mouse to kind of say like, son, you should stay there, or you should not stay there, and yada yada yada. So you can definitely take the time out to that. I kind of like the golden hour. It's summer. Let's get that golden hour kind of vibe in there. Or what, Emily? Or create your own asset and add it to your scenes and then post it on Discord. We'd love to see it. Yeah, you're actually right. Yeah. But that's the cool thing. So you can basically get pretty up and running creating your own first map. If you were to go in, create your own models, put it in Blender, you make sure you unwrap it good, put some textures on it, then you could import it into your Unreal scene and start making that from there. That is basically just that is like the overly simplified version of making games. And yeah, pretty much that's it. So absolutely consider it. Now I'm still waiting for these mega scans, because this is like my kind of like magnum opus, because that's like what is kind of going to give the whole thing. So I'm gonna give it just a little bit of time. And also, Thomas, if you're watching this, I'll make sure everything is downloaded after, or uninstalled and removed and whatnot. Now, okay, so I want to add something else. Also, you could also do this is also reference is key. So you could either go in, if you just like, this is like out of my own imaginations and whatnot, but you could maybe like, you know, if you found a cool game, or you found a cool screenshot, or you found a cool scene from a movie, you could definitely go in and just use that as a reference and try and recreate that in real time. Now, yeah, let's get some graveyards in here. I'm just gonna add one. Just one. I can still see. I kind of want to add a little bit of. Some light to this lovely little one, and then I can see that I have an old gravestone. Yes. Again, so you can see these sizes are quite small, so you can definitely see what I meant by 100 by 100 by 100, how massive these maps can get. So if you were to increase that, you can definitely get some height in. So press R again for scale, and increase it here on the side. No need, I'll have a better setup for next season. Well, I definitely believe that... Oh yes, my good friends who is watching this is actually the last time me and Emily will be in your bootcamp feeds. The thing is, I will be going to what is it called, Daddy-U for the next year, which means that I will not be here at the school, but that's where Unur is going to take over both mine and Emily's job, both as a moderator and as an instructor. So at one point I'm going to call in dear Emily, and we're just going to have a little bit of a hangout if there is some time for it. But this is, after all, our last run as the bootcamp moderator and instructor. So first of all, I would like to say thank you for learning with us. I really hope that you gotten something good out of it. I hope you learned a little bit of a trigger too, and I sincerely hope that you are now feeling inspired to further hone in on your 3D principles and wanting either to do videos or movies or video games and whatever. Like I believe that we've really given you a cool approach to how to utilize these different 3D programs. And now you just have the entire summer ahead of you. But do not worry, we'll still have the video on demand, so if you miss our dear voices, you're more than welcome to go back and listen to some of our earlier streams. Or you as well always find us in the Discord. And as well, Unur, our humble sir, will be taking over from August. So just to keep that in mind. A quick thing I really want to push out as well is the... you can feel like there is a snappiness to when I want to rotate these things. This is by default a setting that that Unreal is doing, and this is up here. There's these like increments, so you could say just like I want to add a 5-degree and I want you to snap sizes. So that means now it's a little bit more smooth. And I have a little bit more free range. I have a little bit more range to work with when it comes to these angles and whatnot. And of course, you can always go in. I can definitely just show you out here if I remove my webcam here. There is this outliner where whenever you press a single individual stuff, you're gonna get so much info in here. So that should be fine. So as I'm like kind of now setting this up, I should now have the... Yes! Yes, let me get those. So I now believe that I should have my European hornbeam. Karl Heinz, the same to you. Learned a lot under the short time been watching your YouTube channel. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's greatly appreciated that we can learn a thing or two. I mean, I'm still a student here, so if this has really intrigued your mind and you want to learn more about it, I mean, use YouTube, or you know, as us as a school, like, get in there. Especially if you have a flair for it and you feel like you just want to explore more of this world, what it has to offer. I would definitely say just like have a go at it, just figure out, because there's lots to explore in the world of 3D, and it can be utilized for everything in this world. Now, without sounding too, I kind of want to show you some of the stuff that you can get from the Unreal Marketplace. Let me just get one of these ones in here. Oh, right, I need to go back to selection mode because I'm not going to use it for foliage right now. Oh, right. Sorry, pivot paint. No, damn it. Geometry. Here we go. So if I were to add this one in here, that should be fine. It's going to take a little bit of time because these assets are now being loaded in. So, you know, if you get these pop-ups and it's saying 0% for a long time, don't you worry. It's just Unreal having a little bit of a thinking process. Karl Heinz, yeah, but I have just started getting used to Blender shortcuts and UPOP, UE engine. Listen. Okay, here's the thing. It's okay. See, the thing is, hotkeys is one thing, and those are just like slowly getting in. That is just like your slow and steady approach to learning how the program is. I, for myself, have never used Blender, for example. When I started here at the school, I was taught to use Maya. So whenever my good, the good Emily is then saying, I can both use Maya and Blender, and I think she also can do some solid work in Unreal Engine. I mean, it takes time. It takes time to practice, and that is just like to get the good habit of rinse and repeat process. Just do the whole thing over and over again, and that's a-okay. And now you can see I have a tree. It hasn't loaded in the texture yet, but you will see in a short second that it's gonna be pretty cool. So yeah. But Karl Heinz, it's a good combo. Unreal and Blender, it will get you up to pretty good. And here we are. So now you can see. Can you see this level of details, guys? Oh, I'm gonna also show this as well. Down here, there's something called preparing shaders, which is basically just letting it do its thing. So yeah. And also, if you were to have a look at this, can you see that it sways in the winds? So these are some of the assets that you can then add into your scene to get this kind of like a little bit of a moody kind of flavor. So yeah. So we have that tree there. I'm just gonna quickly just remove it because we're gonna use the foliage editor for this one. Oh god, we hope so. It looks like Westfall. What here? I like you already, Karl Heinz. I'm not making you a favorite right now, but as someone who just started playing World of Warcraft. All right, I need to focus. So going back into the foliage editor, this is where you also be a little bit. You should be a little bit. You should take this with ease, because these are a little bit more dense when it comes to it. So now I'm just gonna add these into the foliage. And then I'm going to use the paintbrush, but I'm going to keep it at such a low value, so I'm not going to make sure, because you can just make these insane, super high dense where there's just like 1,000 trees in just like in that little brush radius that you have, and that is no good. So, but I'll show you in a quick second, as this one is kind of like finishing up. I'm also wondering if any of you have any questions, or if there's anything. I would also like to know, do you guys have any summer plans, or you're gonna just sit inside just like me and just spend your days away making 3D? And there is a joke saying that 3D artists, the better the 3D artists they are, look for them in the summer, because they tend to be the palest, because those are the ones who are staying inside just hawking away at their PCs. I'm not a great artist, apparently. So, well, I could use a little bit more color. That's what my mom would said. So, yeah, well, we can always be in that direction. So, let's see if it wants to work with me. We're also closing in on these 20 minutes. So, I'll quickly go over how to just to show the look of how trees will look inside your engine. And then, at the very end, I would like to set up a camera and show you how to render out a short sequence. Yes, Emily, sleeping is good. Sleeping and gaming would also be quite nice. The gaming would be quite nice, yeah. But you, oh god, it could really be nice with some sleeping, huh? Yeah, especially after when you did, I did my oral exam for today. It's yeah. It's gonna be good to go home and kick my feet back up and just to claim myself vacation ready as I ever can be. So, alright, dear Unreal Engine, I was maybe a little bit too round-handed with the choice of my mesh. So let's see how fast this goes. Oh yeah, and once again, as I said earlier, when you're done with your Unreal scene or whatnot, make sure to go in and share with us on Discord. We always like to see some of the cool stuff that you guys make. I can definitely tell you that there is a very, very, very happy and very, very. Oh God, is this doing this per all of them? I'm gonna try and see, because this wants to kind of like process each of them like one by one, and I believe there is 9, and I have 18 minutes left of this instruction. So let's see if we just can roll with these 3 ones. But to go back, just like whenever you send stuff from the bootcamp, it is I know for a fact that both Emily is a very proud instructor to see the stuff that you guys been making, and as well if you guys are doing some cool stuff in when you're doing some stuff in Unreal Engine. It's also cool to see, and I also get very proud to see the stuff that you guys are putting in the work. So I would hoping that it could maybe abort the stuff that I'm doing here, but it is because it really needs to just kind of like push the things in. But yeah, well, I could just like kick back and wait for it. Bam, cool. I believe that I might have gotten something in here. Let me see if this wants to work. Yes! Did you guys see that? We got trees. We got the damn trees. Now, because that the gravestone is so tall, we need to also go in and again, as per usual, have to go in and change these up to make sure that they kind of line up. And now we'll just populate this here. And now you'll start to see that my computer as well is getting a little bit slow. So I will then go back in, just quickly go out of foliage mode. I will do unlit. You're gonna see that now I'm gaining like 1,000 FPS just compared as before. Go back into foliage, kind of paint the stuff here, and just give this overall a pretty cool vibe. So I'm just gonna add a few more zeros to kind of like thin the whole thing out as we are slowly approaching. And we also want to add a little bit up here. And as well, we wanted to make sure that there is some sort of like paint. Let's get it a little bit more dense as well here. Whoop. 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 Bam. Maybe something up there, something there, something there. That looks pretty neat. Yeah, I know this is gonna look like, it's gonna look a little bit funky because it's going for, it wants to do a uniform scale on the whole thing. But please bear with me, guys. It is, once again, just a showcase. And now, if I were to do this, and let's say I add, yeah, let's just add a little bit something in here. And I'll do this. I'll go out of my foliage editor. That looks pretty neat, I would say. I'd say that works pretty damn good. Now again, I would maybe take the time out to really just say hide the foliage for a quick minute. I maybe want to change, I want to change the directional light to make sure that it has a little bit fall here. To get it, kind of to make sure that the assets, it's backlit. So when I were to do this, money. But then, of course, now you can go in and you can tweak and you can change everything to make sure that everything looks to your taste. Definitely do some fantastic cast onto here. I think that looks pretty damn right, taking into account that we only been doing this for roughly 1 hour. So this is what's basically going on, is that you can get some fast outputs and really just like start to learn how to do a little bit of set dressing. Now that we're pretty much heading towards the end, there's something that I would like to show you is how to get a pretty cool scene out of this. The first thing you could do is that you could press F11. That is going to show you just like a full screen of the whole thing. You're going to press G to unhide your gizmos. That is G for gizmo, so that is like, you know, hiding these stuff here. You then want to press lights, and then you could press F9 to screenshot. And then it's going to show you in this little neat folder. Just going to quickly show it here. Bam! Now you have a screenshot. How about you wanted to make it maybe a video instead? Great question. I'm glad you asked, because that is what we're about to do. When you want to get out of this, press G to as you can see, the gizmo is back. Press F11 to exit the full screen. And up here, there is something called cinematic under the, if I remember. I need sorry, the webcam is in front, so I need to make sure where exactly I am. Here, there's something called cinematic, and there's something called cine actor, cine camera actor. And actor, this is putting you practically a camera inside your scene that you then will tell Unreal, hey, I want to record some stuff from this. And now you can see it's trying to do this. It's trying to render this in inside the frame, and that is a-okay because the rest of it is pretty much unlit. Now, should I want to now make it so I wanted to render this out, I would then find this little, I think it's called a slate or a clapper. I'm not too sure about it, but the one that you use like cut for. And up here, there's something called add level sequence. Press that one, and we're just gonna call this the summer shot. BC for Bootcamp. No, let's do summer shot version 001. Gonna save that, and now you can see that we've gotten a new tab, or a new tab down in the bottom where it's content browser, and I have my sequencer. In order, if I want to then tell, and this is also what is called just like a whole sequence, that is where you put all your animations. This is where you, like I said before, put your cameras in. This is to make sure how much you want stuff to either be recorded for and yada yada. And this is being counted in frames per second, if I remember correctly. And the standard settings is 30 frames per second. You can also change it to 24 if you want to go with a little more film style, but you can also go higher. I used to say, just for Unreal, 30 frames is a quite nice thing. It's not too high and not too low. When I then want, there's two ways of adding the camera. Either I can drag it from the outliner into my scene. Now you can see it has been added. And if I then wanted to then say here, pilot in here. Oh, I'm so silly. I actually pressed the wrong one here. I want to pilot the Cine Actor camera instead. I'm very sorry. I can then do press here, and that is the one that we want to add down here into the outliner. And now, there we go, that was the one. Now it shows you pretty much what is happening. What aperture, what focal length, do you want to do some transformation? So that means you can set 2 pointers, you can do like a slow zoom. You can definitely see if I were to do location. You can see here I'm just like, you know, moving stuff around, so I can do these changes, and then I can set these keys to make sure that everything is like moving around and whatnot, and that is by using this. So let's say if I want to have a starting position from let's mess around a little bit here. Let me cook here. So let's say I want it from here to over here. So let's say I say here. I'm gonna set the, just make sure it's the same one. Boop. I'm gonna slam it all the way down to the very end. 150. And I want to set it here, and then I'm gonna add another key. So if I remember correctly now, we should now have something like this. Hey, now it's moving. So let's say that you've now set up the camera, you've added a little bit of simple movements. What's the next move? How do I get this rendered out? This is the thing that we need to do now. So here we need to, there is another clapper, again, the same actually icon, I do believe. There's something called render this movie to a video or image frame sequence. And by pressing this one, you'll now get a little bit of a pop-up saying, how do you want this? First of all, AVI is my recommendation unless you're working with post-production, because a frame stack means that you'll get 150 frames out individually that needs to be stitched together, and you need some certain programs for that. I highly recommend DaVinci Resolve 18, which is a little bit more professional video post-production software where you can do color grading, a little bit more, well, it has a better interface and whatnot. But if you just want this to go home and show it to old mama or pops here over the summer, I would definitely recommend you just use the AVI. We don't want any video. We know it's 30. You can change the resolution. I'm not going to do anything too big because this is just as a demonstration, but you could do full HD or you could do 4K as well at the same time. You could also do a compression. I'm just going to leave it as it is. So that is just my way to do this. And when I'm then happy, I can then find a destination where I want to add where I want to put my output, where the render file is going to be. I'm going to put it there, and I can file name format. You can change that as well, but I just want to quickly show you how it's going to look like. Now it wants me to save all the stuff, and now it's going to render. So yeah. So now that is one rendering out. You can get that kind of feeling in there. And I believe, oh yeah, and then you can see down here in the bottom, when it's done, it's like saying down here, capturing video. And it's saying, boo, capturing finished. And now when I open my capturing folder, I can now press this one. And would you look at that? We now have a in-render recording from our Unreal scene. And yeah, you can do that too. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. This is basically just like the quick and dirty guide, or not dirty guide, but the quick and fast way, quick and how would you say? Yeah, quick and dirty. Let's do quick and dirty. I like the sound of that. The quick and dirty way of how to use Unreal Engine. Of course, there is hundreds and hundreds of different tools that you can use. There's different layouts, there's different approaches, This is my way of showing you it. I hope this kind of helped you to kind of get into the groove and to make it less of a scary and daunting task of learning how Unreal is. I can also just show you a little neat trick here. Is that for all the camera aficionados out there, when you press your Cine Actor camera, you have, just gonna turn off the no cam here. There's these like different settings for, like, you know, film back. How do you want this? Do you want this as DSLR? Do you want this to be IMAX 70mm acting like accordingly? Do you want some zoom in there? Like, do you want like a 1.8 aperture 85mm prime lens? Do you want some focal length? Do you want to do even more aperture? Like, the setting goes on and on and on, and there is like post-processing. Do you want to do some film grading? What kind of stuff do you go for? So you can spend a long time learning this, and Unreal is a powerful tool whether or not you want to learn the video games way or whatnot. This is your way. I believe that we're kind of like out of time now. I'm just gonna make sure that everything. So I think we will close this one off. I will be very happy to just open it up for some questions here for the last few minutes. Emily, if you would be so kind to come in here and say goodbye to our humble friends and viewers that has been with us for quite some time, you should be more than welcome as that. But it's been an absolute pleasure having you guys, and can't wait to see. And by the way, no need to send stuff into your Unreal scenes. I mean, you can spend hours and hours upon these processing. So we let's kind of just like say thank you for this time around. I hope that you really learned something cool today. Come in! Oh my god, I've never done this before.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, Jesus.
It's hot in here, isn't it?
It's freaking hot in here.
And you're the Aussie, right?
This chair. Yes. Oh my god, this is so weird. The roles are reversed.
That is how the tables has turned.
For anybody who's been to previous boot camps, that is.
Yeah, for sure. They how the thing has changed around. But as I can see that people are still just working at it. Not really many people are in the chat right now saying I think they're hard at work with their.
I think that you did such a good job teaching.
Thank you.
They have no questions. There's nothing. It's just perfect everything. They have all the information they need. No questions needed.
Oh, thank you. I was also just like at one point I was just like, okay, this is like this is very chill. Like this is great. So, yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
But once again, guys, please do remember this, and I mean this, is I will be, especially on the Discord, just send your stuff in. I know there's going to be other people who would love to see the work that you're doing. Use the summer, spend some time learning these tools that both you and I have taught them. Get in there with the ZBrush, have fun, make some sculpts, go in and make a barrel or something like that. And yeah, and then at the very end, try and get that stuff in there after it's been textured into Unreal, and you can do some cool stuff.
I'm so sad that it's ending.
Yeah.
But our legacy will live on through you guys. And keep on doing art. And keep on posting it and just sharing it with the world and inspiring people. Do it.
Absolutely.
We love it.
Amen, sister. So, and like again, if you're missing us way too much, write to us in the Discord, or you can go in and find the earlier video on demand.
Just reminisce and just watch them old videos.
You can go all the way back to the start of the winter. Like
Don't do that.
Start from March.
Go back to, yes.
Start from March.
Exactly.
But get in there, have fun with it, and yeah, and it's been a pleasure.
It's been a ride.
It's been a ride.
Thank you guys so much for joining, and we hope you enjoyed yourselves and learned some stuff. So yeah, thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
And if you haven't already joined the Discord, as if I haven't said it enough already, if you haven't already joined the Discord, go ahead. You don't have to post anything if you don't want to, if you're not comfortable, but feel free. It is welcome to everybody, and it is our lovely community, and where you get to interact with all kinds of different people, and also people who attend the school, but also people who don't. And so, yeah.
Now there's no excuse.
Exactly.
There's no freaking excuse. But
feel free.
absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
But yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Have a great summer. It's been a pleasure. Keep it real. Keep making art. And don't overthink shit. Love.
Bye.
Bye.